It's Nero week, day 3, and I'm on my way down to get him in from the field to give him a bit of clean up before we head up to the vets today. It's taking a lot of shouting for them this morning, but they're clearly enjoying their time over in the footpath field. That's a bit more like it. Well, that's 2 of them. Who's still up behind the hedge? At least we've got a Nero. I think we've got a Nero and a Hunnis, and it's Uber over the back. We have. Good morning, boys. Good morning, there are treat balls. Hello, Nero. Oh, you handsome boy. I've got Renska here, albeit in the wrong coloured head collar. She's very excited because I've decided to bring her back down to the field. Oh, Ren, I'm very animated now. She's desperate to get back with her girlfriends because she's actually been busy flirting with Uber across in the big field and standing in lots of mud. That's Uber shouting back at her. But her foot is looking really good. And the great thing about being out in the 14 acre is she's not going to be standing in any mud. Anyway, I best let her go because she's very keen to get back to them. Oh, that's nice. They will come up to meet her. She'll be happier out there for a few days, and then she'll want to come in for a sleep. My little Lorry's not behaving today. To be honest, the battery hasn't been behaving for a while, so we've had to drag the car out to jump start it. It is going in for its annual service and MOT in a couple of weeks, but it's just frustrating when you've got a lot to do and then you have to faff around with getting the jump leads out, finding a battery in a little Mini, which took us a while, but at least it'll start now. Yay, we have jump off. And as a lot of you know, we had an awful lot of problems with the Lorry back in February when Nero first went to the vets, and it ended up costing, I think, over £5,000. So she's had a lot of work on her this year, including having her ramp repaired, and that was £500. The joy of this place, the joy of vehicles. Don't you just love them? But they serve a very good purpose, and I wouldn't want to be without it. If I'm late on the live, if you've watched it, it's Michael's fault. Right, what am I doing? Right, I'm going up here. You see, he needs my strength.
It's just to take a little bit of weight, just to...
Right, so I'm lifting it straight up.
That's all spare there, so...
It's easy, this building, Mark, isn't it?
The sheets are going to be on top of our lot, up here.
Yeah, so actually we might have...
suspended it. If you didn't suspend it any lower than sort of...
Okay.
I mean, a horse's back's sort of, what, up here?
Yeah, it's just how they can reach with their head. We're talking about whether we could fit a solarium in here or not.
I mean,
but that's something we can...
be able to touch that with its head, really.
Yeah, he would.
But he's not going to bang his head. It's just...
Well, he'd have to duck. So, yeah, it's maybe a little low.
To have another small horse in here eventually.
No, we're not getting multiple. We're not getting a Mrs. JB yet. So if you managed to catch our little live that we did of preparing them all, we've got Nero here, all tidied up with his tail guard on. Little skinny innie. There's Frey, 18 years and 1 day. There's Lisa, who's busy training for a cat bells walk. And there's Iceman, all ready to go. So we're going to load up now and head off. That's one in, bit Linny. There's the horse that was too dangerous to travel, who's loaded now. Having a chat to little skinny Innie at the back. All three on, and we're ready to go. She's behaving nicely, the lorry now. So we've just stopped for a top up of fuel. Just see them through the windows there. Just have a quick check on them inside. It's a little bit hot and sweaty in there, isn't it? So they're all getting a little bit warm. Aren't you beasties? But they're all settled enough. We're here, we've arrived safely. 3 rather sweaty horses in the back. Well, Iceman's not too sweaty because he's clipped, so he hasn't got much of a coat. Whereas the other 2 are quite woolly. So they've got a bit warm. That's Nero in the middle. Inna at the back. Inna's asleep here, waiting for her scope. Meanwhile, Nero is round the corner. He's been kicking the door, looking for things to break. He's being quiet now because I'm filming Fry. Happy?
Yeah.
So it just shows stress alone doesn't cause the ulcers.
Sit down a bit.
Because we've got 2 scoops at the moment.
Right.
2 scoops a day, so maybe if we drop them to 1 scoop a day.
You got it? Yeah.
And then just wait and see if he shows any signs.
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily, if you do that, I wouldn't necessarily say you need to scope him again once he's been on 1 scoop, because if you notice the signs, then he'll tell you about it.
Yeah, and then we could just up it again for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So would we do that as opposed to putting him on the Gastrogard again?
I mean, if he actually gets ulcers, then the Gastrogard or Peptidol, whichever one you use, is going to be a lot more effective at actually getting rid of ulcers once they're there.
Yeah.
In terms of keeping them away, then the things like Peptidos work okay.
Right. Okay.
Or it can be at least useful anyway. So.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's good because
it's good.
So there wasn't any signs
No,
of
I mean,
there at all.
if you didn't know any different, you'd say, it hasn't got them anyway.
Yeah.
Then it looks like a normal stomach.
Okay. Perfect. He's always going to look plain though, isn't he? Because even when it fuses, he's not going to have any movement. Or he's not going to have as much movement.
There's no movement in those joints anyway,
no.
Really. I mean, the movement, the principle behind the surgery is that you stop the movement and therefore stop the pain. And just, remove the articular cartilage so there's no arthritic pain because the joints are fused. But in terms of how much movement of the hop is from those joints, it's negligible, it's tiny.
So the lameness he shows now, is that more than you should expect after?
It's about 6 months, isn't it?
Yeah, so it's not 12 months till February.
Arguably, yeah.
Right.
But to be honest, I haven't seen enough of these cases to know what the sort of expected return to. Again, I mean, you're right. I mean, he may well never be completely sound, but I'd expect him to be less lame than that by the time everything's sorted out. But
yeah,
I mean, I'd have to sort of speak to the surgeon to see what the expected timescale for improvement is. And
he doesn't behave like he's distressed through being in pain or anything like that.
No. I mean, it's a difficult thing to sort of to quantify and to assess what impact it has on on them in
Yeah.
that. I mean, for that level of lameness, he's definitely uncomfortable. Otherwise, clearly, it's not mechanical lameness. It's a
he's not doing it, because that stops him running around the field a lot of the time, because he knows it's going to hurt.
Absolutely, and with sort of chronic, relatively low-grade pain, you're right. I mean, they definitely get used to it, and in the same way that people do, it's just
he'll just do as much as he feels able to do.
I think it's a very difficult thing to. I always tell people you shouldn't necessarily sort of anthropomorphise and sort of equate animals to what pain levels we feel.
Do it all the time.
Well, exactly. I know it's difficult not to, but chronic pain's a pretty miserable thing. But their
eyes tell you so much, don't they?
Yeah. I mean, they know when you know your horses well, you'll be in the best position to sort of make an assessment of what their quality of life is like.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just that they put up with a lot without outwardly showing it.
They do.
Yeah. Right.
We like that statement.
I didn't say whether it progressed well or badly, but.
Oh, sorry. Okay, that's fair enough.
But
tell me as it is.
In a way, you want it to get worse, because I mean that's the whole point of the surgery, and that the joints fuse up. But you can see that's the joint space, which still looks horrendously arthritic, but then there is new bone formation around it, and on that view, you can see the joint space is sort of gone here and to an extent there as well.
So would we expect it to go completely from over there as well?
Probably as time goes on, yeah. And again here, that joint and that joint look relatively normal, but this is the one that's been arthritic and has had the surgery, and it's you can see the joint space here, but there is just you just can't really see it. And so it still looks quite active in that there's quite sort of varying densities of bone, and so hopefully as time goes on it'll carry on knitting together and fusing up. I'd just like to see him a little bit less lame, but it's still in the.
But as long as there's bone growing still to try and fuse that, presumably there's still going to be that bit of movement, even if there's not a lot of movement in that joint.
Yeah. I mean, they're very low movement joints. I mean, they do move a little bit, but just they're instead of being a sort of a knuckle, which is got a lot of sort of rotation in it, they're basically just two flat bits of bone, and they don't really, or two flat joints, so they don't move very much. But it's not nil movement, and so when the joint's inflamed, it's painful. But
presumably the more that he's out in the field moving around, that's going to encourage more bone growth while there's still movement. But you wouldn't want to shut him.
No, you can sort of argue either way, and that the more he moves around, the more the bones move against each other, and therefore don't if you've got a fracture and it moves, it takes a long time to heal.
Yeah.
Because the two ends of the bone are constantly sort of doing that, and they will heal eventually. It just takes a lot longer. Similarly, if a little bit of movement will, for want of a better phrase, aggravate the joint, and therefore, assuming it does fuse completely, it'll fuse more fully, for want of a better phrase.
Right.
And so, as I say, I think I'd have to talk to the surgeon, but I think you can construct an argument for sort of both the pros and cons of movement.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But in terms of it just forming into one lump of bone and fusing, the more he moves, the slower it's going to be.
Yeah, I suppose that's the thing. It would happen quicker if he was just stood in, but then that's not a nice quality of life.
No, and if you look at it, taking the fracture analogy, the reason fractures are put in a cast or pinned or plated or whatever is so that the bones are held rigidly together and they don't move. And if you break your arm, they'll say stick it in a cast and say don't move it.
How does it look compared to last time?
I think pretty good. I'm just picking out this bit of food now. Let me have a look. much less food trapped, and the gum looks pretty healthy. That's looking really good.
What about the decay?
Well, it's still there, but possibly see some. The cementum won't reform on the exposed where it's absent.
Yeah.
What will happen is, as the tooth emerges, the the cementum that's coming into the mouth shouldn't hopefully get eroded, and you can see a little sort of halo of cementum where hopefully it's not getting eroded away.
Okay.
Good night. Yeah, that's dramatically better. The gum's got very, very little inflammation on it, so the grooves across the teeth have worked really nicely.
Good.
Good man.
He's still got a few.
Yeah, he's got a few bits. I'll take. Yeah, I mean, in a way, because the sort of the grooves are made across the teeth, sometimes it can accentuate the way the enamel grows and makes the spurs slightly more prominent.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Good man. Well done. Good boys. Good fella. Good fella. You alright?
So presumably he won't need checking again for another 6 to
Yes,
12
so
months.
6 months will be ample. I mean,
Yeah.
if he's not having any signs of dental issue, you might even get away with 12, but I'd probably be more like for 6 just in case it's refilling, but I don't
Yeah.
think it will.
Maybe we'll go 9.
9, good idea, let's compromise, yeah.
Okay. That's good.
Compromise is
Quite a
good.
good visit.
Yep.
For a change. We've got Iceman and Nero here. They've both been in. We've got Inner over on the side there. I'm really pleased to say that Inner showed no signs of ulcers. So it's really interesting because she's a very stressy mare. So in lots of ways of thinking, you would think that she is more likely to have ulcers. But she's got nothing. It looked really healthy. Iceman, I'm pleased to say that the supplement seems to be doing its job. And again, he's got no signs of ulcers forming again, so we're going to keep him on that advanced pectivus for good, really, because we know that that's obviously keeping them at bay, so whatever was causing them. And then Nero, he's had another x-ray on his hock. Sam said that it's progressing well, there's bone reforming there to help that joint fully fuse. He's obviously still lamer than anybody would like to see, but we can tell that he's happy enough in himself. He's doing really well. And the other good thing is that his mouth is looking good. So the gaps, he wasn't getting food trapped too much in between the little gaps in his teeth. And the decay, obviously that's not going to disappear straight away, but Sam was really pleased with how healthy his mouth looked. Wanted to let you know that Frey has very kindly got up on the website, on the wish list, a link, so for anybody who wants to help towards the costs of what we've done today with the horses, so 2 scopes, Nero's x-ray and his dental work, then you can head to that link and you can make a little contribution, which obviously all helps towards keeping these guys healthy. Thank you. I don't think that we can blame Nero for this breakage, but there is a bit of a pattern going on. 6, I've called Jeff, our mechanic, absolutely brilliant, because I did call in a bit of a panic, almost in tears, and he's already got somebody on the way with 2 tyres to get this sorted so that we can get back home. I don't know what it is, Frey. It's Nero.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Nero's.
Yeah. Nero and going in lorries. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
It's not. not, is it? But thankfully, they're all quite settled on there at the moment. We have got some feeds with us, so at least we can give them a bit of food, but are on their way, so hopefully we'll get sorted soon. Fortunately, these three are very settled. We've got all the big wagons coming past and rocking the lorry. But they're nice and relaxed. And hopefully it won't be too long before the mechanic's here. I'm pleased to report the hero of the hour is here, Isaac. He's done multiple jobs on this lorry over the years. He's come down with 2 new tyres, he's lifted it up, he's now about to change the wheels. This is an unenviable job that Isaac's doing there, trying to hoist the lorry up. The lorry's flying past, but the horses are being really good on there. They're keeping pretty still, because obviously that would be an added challenge if they were rocking the lorry as well. Right, so there's the problem. Split on the inside. And that blew both of them.
No, just one. But then it blew that other one off the bead. So this bit here basically is pushed in with the force of it.
Oh, okay.
Done.
So it's then blown this hole in this one as well. Wow. That's the first one. They're on. Isaac's just going to sort out this bit here. We're going to head back, stop on the way so that he can re-torque the wheels, and then we'll be home. Because I'm sure everybody on our YouTube channel will want to thank you for sorting us out and getting us home.
That'll do me.
Cool.
I'm going off.
Yay, beasties, we're back. And we've got a little Twix to welcome us. Frey, we're back. Yay. Yay. Thank goodness you were with me today. Oh, is it not working? Because the ground's so uneven, we always have to have a little block to go underneath the ramp to make sure it's level. Right, let's get you all off. Now, having been stuck in last night without food, both Iceman and Inna, rather than leaving them in again, we're going to get them both back out into the field where they can eat till their heart's content. However, Nero is going to stay and have a night in, so Frey's just getting a fleece on him just because he got a little bit sweaty, and he's going to have a night in. He looks bright enough, and I'll make a decision tomorrow morning as to whether he still goes to Mel to do his groundwork session. But at the moment he looks bright enough, but we'll see how tired he looks in the morning.
Thank you for the tears. Thank you